Now, just a few weeks ago, Microsoft's first update of 2026 bricked thousands of PCs. We're talking black screens, boot failures, Outlook not wanting to open.
I was probably gonna laugh and talk about the fact that some people are having issues even booting into their system.
Suddenly your screen freezes, your SSD vanishes from the file explorer, and when you reboot, precious files are corrupted, or worse, your drive is dead or gone entirely.
Also, try installing Windows 11 without a Microsoft account. You can't anymore. They killed almost all of the workarounds.
Microsoft's latest Windows 11 update has just triggered an absolute meltdown, leaving millions of PCs crippled and businesses on the brink of collapse. What was supposed to be a routine security patch has instead turned into a catastrophic failure, breaking critical systems and causing widespread chaos. And the most explosive twist? Bill Gates is being dragged into the mess as the company he founded faces a reckoning that could shatter its reputation forever.
Windows forces an update. 45 minutes later, your Discord is blowing up and you're still staring at this screen, working on updates, 73%.
The update dropped on a Tuesday morning in January 2026. Within hours, chaos erupted worldwide. Computers refused to turn on. Screens froze, showing error messages that made zero sense to normal people. Endless restart loops turned expensive machines into paperweights you couldn't even use to check email.
That's the January 2026 update that broke everything, and it's not an outlier. It's just this month's entry in what was already a catastrophic 2025 for Windows updates.
This wasn't a few unlucky users having problems. This was every continent reporting the same horror story at once. Workers showed up to their jobs and found their entire computer systems dead. Email stopped working. Remote access vanished. Security encryption locked people out of their own files forever. The Start menu disappeared. The taskbar froze. Everything that makes Windows actually work just stopped functioning across offices, hospitals, government buildings, and homes simultaneously.
Was that you would go to shut down or enter hibernation, like basically close the lid of the laptop, and instead of sleeping or hibernating or shutting down, it would just reboot. But it only impacted.
Didn't happen to anybody?
It impacted enterprise and education customers, not home and pro customer users. So
I mean, I totally get enterprise because they'll have a bunch of other like GPO stuff running, but
hospitals couldn't access patient files while doctors were treating people. Medical staff stood around helplessly because Windows 11 crashed their entire network. Surgeries got postponed. Emergency rooms went back to using paper and pens like it was 1995. Banks watched their ATMs shut down across entire cities. Tellers couldn't process basic transactions. Stock trading systems froze. Tech startups saw their coding tools explode, with critical connections failing and servers crashing beyond repair. Airlines couldn't check passengers in or manage flight schedules. Planes stayed grounded. Travelers got stranded. The financial damage hit $14 billion in just the first week, and it kept climbing as more problems surfaced.
Microsoft's patch quality has completely collapsed. Windows Central called 2025 Windows 11's, quote, worst year yet. Non-stop bugs, broken updates, unwanted features, pushing users to the breaking point.
Bill Gates built Microsoft promising that software would help people, not hurt them. Seeing Windows 11 do the opposite sent him into a rage that company insiders said was explosive. Gates hasn't run Microsoft in years, but his name is still stamped all over the company's reputation, and this mess makes him look terrible. Emergency meetings got called. Gates got dragged in not because he's in charge anymore, but because the crisis was so catastrophic that Microsoft needed every smart person they could find, working on damage control. Think about what that means. When you have to bring back the founder to deal with an update gone wrong, you've completely lost control of your product, your customers, and your story.
Where people are ready to throw away perfectly good PCs for, if I'm honest, kind of a silly reason.
Copilot.
AI. The Windows 11 requirements just don't make sense in my opinion.
Here's the truly insane part. Microsoft knew this update would break computers before they released it. Leaked internal documents showed that their own testing found a 12% failure rate. 12% means 1 out of every 8 computers crashed during their trials, and they released it anyway. Their excuse? A security hole needed patching fast, so they decided destroying 12% of user computers was worth it. They gambled with millions of people's devices and lost catastrophically. Nobody got warned. Businesses got zero heads up. The update installed automatically, and by the time IT teams figured out what was happening, the damage couldn't be undone.
One update literally broke Windows Recovery. That's the tool designed to fix Windows, and it couldn't fix Windows. Now, the issue isn't that Windows needs security patches. The issue is that the patches are the problem. You're choosing between security vulnerabilities and a broken operating system.
The technical problem came from a bug that corrupted how Windows draws everything you see on screen. Buttons stopped appearing. Programs couldn't open. System functions crashed constantly. The blue screen of death became so normal that internet forums turned into support groups where thousands of people shared identical nightmare stories.
When I think of Microsoft, I don't think of a brilliant software engineer or anyone with technical ability. I think of a bunch of jerks in suits in a boardroom somewhere. Innovation has been replaced by risk management.
The connection failures destroyed how developers work completely. Building websites, testing code, managing databases, running containers, all of it depends on stable local connections. When Windows 11 killed that, programmers literally couldn't do their jobs. Code wouldn't compile. Servers wouldn't start. Testing environments vanished. Startups racing against tight deadlines watched product launches disappear because their teams couldn't perform basic work tasks.
Updates drop constantly now, multiple times a week, and each one is rolling the dice on whether your PC works tomorrow. And the silent part that Microsoft won't say, you're not getting better software, you're getting worse QA.
Small businesses got hit hardest because they don't have the safety nets that big corporations use. A massive company has backup systems, extra equipment, and dedicated tech teams ready for disasters. A small startup with 10 employees doesn't. When Windows 11 crashed, these businesses faced total shutdown with no way to recover. Client projects missed deadlines. Money stopped coming in overnight. Investors lost confidence and pulled funding because companies couldn't show the progress they'd promised. Some startups desperately switched to Linux, wiping their computers and rebuilding everything from scratch just to start working again. Others closed permanently, unable to survive the momentum loss and broken client trust.
You win them back with rebuilding trust. And to fix this, Microsoft needs to remember what made them great in the first place, empowering their users, giving them ownership, and how easy everything was to use. People don't want AI in every menu or ads buried in their file explorer. They don't care. They just want software that works. They want tools that are stable and predictable. And
Microsoft's fix actually made things worse. They released emergency patches that helped some computers but didn't solve the real problem. The repair instructions told people to boot from USB drives, type complex commands, manually edit system files, and reinstall operating system pieces. These steps require technical knowledge most people simply don't have. Regular business owners, students, home users, and even plenty of IT professionals got stuck with dead computers and repair steps they couldn't follow. Microsoft's helplines got flooded within hours. Wait times stretched to days. Even their automated fix tools failed because computers were too broken to run diagnostics. The company that made its fortune making computers easy for everyone created a disaster that only tech experts could navigate, and even experts were struggling.
E niente, non ci siamo ancora. L'aggiornamento di gennaio 2026 per Windows 11 ci sta riservando ancora nuove sorprese e sta mandando in tilt il PC di parecchi utenti. Schermo nero della morte, modem che smettono di funzionare e persino impossibilità di avviare il sistema. E no, non è uno scherzo.
The anger exploded everywhere people could complain. Reddit threads about the failures collected tens of thousands of furious comments in hours. Forums filled with users swearing they'd never use Windows again. Social media became a non-stop stream of screenshots showing dead systems, cryptic error messages, and failed repair attempts. This wasn't just people being annoyed. This was straight-up betrayal. Folks who trusted Windows for decades, who built entire careers and businesses using Microsoft products, now felt like the company was actively trying to sabotage them.
And Microsoft is so desperate to get you logged in that they're adding account prompts to Paint for optional features that nobody asked for. And you know what? That's the tell. It's not about making Paint better. It's about getting you signed into their ecosystems so they can track what you do, when you do it, and tie it to your identity.
Users started downgrading back to Windows 10 in massive numbers, despite Microsoft screaming about security risks. Others jumped to Linux, willing to forget everything they knew and learn completely new systems just to escape Windows 11's instability. The migration was real and accelerating fast. Microsoft was bleeding users, not because competitors beat them, but because they shot themselves in the foot so badly people couldn't run away fast enough.
Windows 11 has some pretty bad features that are truly privacy invading. From a Windows recall that records everything you do on the computer to new telemetry that can potentially track your interactions over the internet tied to a TPM chip identity.
This isn't just a tech fail. It's a failure of trust on a global scale. Microsoft gambled with millions of users' livelihoods, and the consequences are catastrophic. If you've been affected by Windows 11's nightmare or think Microsoft has crossed a line, don't let this go unnoticed. Like this video, share it, and make sure to subscribe for more updates on this ongoing disaster.
If you're running Windows 11 Home, you already know how Microsoft makes it practically impossible for a user to use a local account. And if you're on Windows 10 and you're doing an upgrade to Windows 11, you will not realize that that Microsoft account has changed and is doing a ton of new things to ensure you have no privacy.
Developers and tech workers turned on Windows 11 with pure hatred that'll stick for years. This update didn't just crash systems. It destroyed the actual tools people use to earn their living. Coding programs crashed. File tracking systems got corrupted. Container platforms became unstable. Automated build systems failed. Every single piece of modern development infrastructure broke at once, and developers never forgive platforms that waste their time. When your operating system stops you from working instead of helping you work, you find a different operating system. The professional tech community that used to defend Windows as the only serious work platform now actively tells new developers to avoid it completely.
NVIDIA gamers see performance tank 30 FPS in games that ran fine yesterday. So what does NVIDIA do? They release an emergency driver, and performance jumps from 30 FPS to 71. So that means a Windows update cut gaming performance in half. Your graphics card didn't break, Windows broke it.
Microsoft's company culture created this disaster by caring more about speed than quality for years. They operate under insane pressure to ship updates fast, patch security holes faster than rivals, and show constant platform improvements to justify subscription fees and business contracts. This obsession with velocity treats testing like an annoying slowdown instead of a crucial safety check. Updates get pushed out with known problems because security teams demand instant patches or product managers need feature releases. Regular users become unpaid beta testers for software that should have been properly checked before release. The KB5074109 disaster wasn't a one-time mistake. It was the guaranteed result of a system built to move fast and break things, except the things breaking are computers millions of people need for work, school, healthcare, and daily survival.
Every update adds weight. You've got more background processes, more telemetry, more Copilot that you didn't ask for. Your PC isn't slow because it's old. It's slow because Windows treats it like an AI training data center. People are asking some new questions now. Not how do I fix this update, but what else is out there?
The money consequences go way beyond that immediate $14 billion in damage. Lawsuits started forming within days as businesses calculated what they lost and who to blame. Hospitals dealing with disrupted patient care, banks handling failed transactions, and startups that missed funding deadlines all have solid legal grounds to demand payment. Government investigations launched in multiple countries questioning whether Microsoft's recklessness in releasing an update they knew was broken violates consumer protection laws. The company faces massive fines, forced policy changes, and court orders demanding transparency that could completely change how they build and release software. Class action lawyers jumped on this immediately, realizing millions of affected users represent one of the biggest tech liability disasters in modern history.
Since the computer is supposed to be your AI companion, then this data must be protected at all costs by Microsoft.
Microsoft's rivals pounced on the opportunity with surgical precision. Apple started running ads, highlighting how stable macOS is, directly contrasting their careful update process with Windows chaos. Google pushed Chrome OS as a system that updates smoothly without destroying your workflow. Linux distributors saw downloads explode as people fled Windows hunting for operating systems that actually respect their time and work.
I think of it as a recalibration. You don't need to ditch Microsoft altogether. There's still a lot I like about Microsoft. Windows runs on just about everything. Office apps are everywhere, and for a lot of businesses, it's still a solid setup. There's a reason it's still so popular. And then to me, the best part about tech right now is that you do have so many options. Just because you're on a PC doesn't mean you have to live entirely in Microsoft 365.
Sales teams from every competitor started calling businesses that got wrecked by Windows failures, offering help switching platforms and showing comparisons. Microsoft's catastrophic update became the best sales pitch every competitor could dream of, and the damage to Microsoft's business reputation will keep growing for years as companies remember which platform destroyed their operations in January 2026. The trust destruction is permanent, and you can measure it. Millions of devices now have automatic updates turned off because people decided risking security holes is better than guaranteed system crashes. IT departments created update delay systems and testing protocols that slow down deployment for weeks or months.
Microsoft's killing those too.
Microsoft is blocking more ways to set up a Windows 11 local account.
They're not making Windows better, they're making it impossible to use Windows without giving them your data.
The basic assumption that Windows would work when you needed it has completely evaporated. People now expect it to fail. They plan for computers to break. They keep backup systems and alternative platforms ready because Windows 11 taught them Microsoft can't be trusted to keep basic stuff working. This isn't temporary anger that fades after a fix. This is permanent damage to the relationship between Microsoft and the people who made Windows the dominant system for 40 years. The broken culture inside Microsoft that caused this won't change easily or quickly. Company leadership needs to completely rethink how updates get developed, tested, and released. Testing systems need massive upgrades. Quality checks need total rebuilding. The internal push to ship fast needs replacing with a push to ship correctly.
Well, it's because Microsoft engineering isn't where Microsoft's money goes anymore. They gutted QA teams to chase AI, Copilot everywhere, Recall, Paint with AI, Notepad with AI. The foundation is crumbling while they paint over it with chatbots.
Being honest about known problems needs to happen before updates deploy, not after they break millions of systems. These changes need money, time, and willingness to slow down in an industry that rewards speed above everything. Microsoft has shown zero signs that transformation is coming. The same executives who approved releasing KB 5074109 still have their jobs, still operating under the same pressures that caused the disaster.
Especially if you got the same error that I was getting, I was able to actually figure out the solution to that, and I don't think anyone else has been able to figure it out.
Windows 11's meltdown was the final blow to Microsoft's trust with users. No amount of emergency patches can repair the damage done. It's no longer a tool users can rely on. It's a liability they now have to manage, and the company's decades-long dominance might just come crashing down. What do you think Microsoft's next step should be to regain trust, and should we be preparing for another tech disaster down the road? Drop your views in the comments.